I still remember the sound of the glass shattering, the wine dribbling down the tablecloth like blood. That's how Christmas Eve dinner started. But the explosion didn't come from my grandfather's trembling hands or my overly dramatic uncle. It came from me. Grandpa had just smiled across the table, his eyes soft and shining under the warm chandelier light, and asked casually, "So, Julia, how's the $480,000 house I bought you?" Every fork froze mid-air. Every face stiffened. Except mine. Because I didn't know what the hell he was talking about. The silence stretched for a good 10 seconds before I managed to croak out, "What house?" Grandpa blinked, confused. "The one I gifted you this summer, when you moved out? The one near the lake." My heart thudded painfully. My chest felt tight. I never got a house. That's when the wineglass slipped from my hand and burst against the tile floor. My mother's eyes went wide as saucers. My father's jaw clenched so hard I thought he'd crack a tooth. My cousin pretended to cough but was definitely listening. Grandpa's face twisted into something heartbreaking, confusion melting into dread. He looked toward my mom slowly. "Where is the house?" he asked, voice thin and shaking. Her smile was tight, fake, terrified. "Oh, Dad, you must be misremembering. You never did." But Grandpa silenced her with a single look. He turned back to me. "I wired the money to your parents months ago," he whispered. "They promised they'd put the deed in your name." The words hit me like ice water down my spine. My parents stole my house. The room spun. The laughter from earlier felt like a cruel echo. Then the anger came, hot, sharp, and chest-crushing. I stared at my mother. Her face flickered between guilt and indignation. "We needed it more than you," she snapped suddenly. "You're young, you'll have plenty of chances." "That money was mine," I said quietly. Too quietly. My father slammed his hand onto the table. "We are your parents. Everything we own is eventually yours anyway." "No," Grandpa cut in. His voice rose, shaking with fury. "That house was her future. That money was entrusted to you for her." My mom rolled her eyes. "Stop being dramatic, Dad." Grandpa stood. At 81, he still held a presence that commanded silence. "Julia," he said, turning toward me with a grim tenderness. "I'm so sorry." Then he walked out of the dining room. And that was the last thing he ever said to me. Grandpa died 4 days later. A stroke, the doctor said. Sudden. Unexpected. Stress-induced. I knew damn well what stress they meant. My mother didn't cry at the funeral. She just dabbed at her dry eyes like an actress in a bad movie. They thought they were in the clear. They thought I was weak. They thought I would swallow the betrayal like every other time they took something from me. They were wrong. Because while they were busy dividing Grandpa's remaining estate, I was plotting. And when the will was finally read, that's when the real story began. My parents expected everything. The house, the stocks, the car, the leftover savings, everything. But Grandpa changed his will on December 24th, the night of the dinner. He left me everything except one thing. The house they stole, was specifically mentioned. Retracted due to fraudulent handling by beneficiaries Joseph and Linda Marshall. My parents. It wasn't in my name, and it wasn't theirs either. Grandpa had already started legal proceedings to reverse the transaction when he died. But he did something even better. He left me a key. A literal key, simple and silver, attached to a note. Finish what I could not. Trust only those who look you in the eye. On the back was an address. Not the lake house. Something else. A tiny lawyer's office downtown. And in that office, answers. Receipts. Emails. Signed paperwork. Proof of what they did. Proof with teeth. That's when I crafted my revenge. Cold. Precise. Surgical. I didn't scream at them. I didn't threaten. I didn't let them see me break. I just smiled politely at the funeral. Hugged them. Let them think I was grieving too hard to fight back. Then I began. Julia, why are you asking about our accounts? My mother asked one evening when she found me scrolling through old joint bank statements I had access to from when I lived at home. Oh, just curious, I said sweetly. She didn't notice the recorder in my pocket. It's not like the money was even yours, she muttered under her breath. Strike one. Later that week, I found the forged deed, with my name scribbled over and replaced with theirs. I photographed everything. Strike two. Then my father got drunk and said the words I needed. That house was a perfect flip, better than wasting it on you. Strike three. I met with Grandpa's lawyer the next day. He didn't even seem surprised. Your grandfather warned me they might try to hide assets, he said. He gave me permission to assist you fully if anything happened to him. Assist me he did. We filed criminal fraud charges. Property theft. Forgery. Elder exploitation. The list was long. But that wasn't enough. They needed to feel what betrayal tastes like. So I waited until Christmas Eve the next year. I invited them to dinner this time. A perfect mirror of the night everything shattered. They came dressed in expensive clothing, bought with Grandpa's stolen money. Their smiles were stiff, forced. They still believed they were untouchable. I poured the wine. The room glowed warm. The aroma of roasted ham filled the air. Then I slid 2 envelopes across the table. What's this? My father asked. Consider it a gift, I said. They opened them casually. Then their faces drained of color. Court summons. The trial date. The full list of charges. Every receipt. Every recording. Every document. I gave you a year, I whispered. A year to come clean. A year to apologize. A year to fix what you broke. My mother's voice cracked. You wouldn't dare send us to jail. I already did. My father stood up violently, knocking his chair backward. We are your parents. And Grandpa was my backbone, I shot back. But you broke him. They stared at me, horrified, as the doorbell rang. Police. Right on time. Handcuffs clicked like satisfying punctuation marks. Their Christmas Eve dinner was interrupted by reality. As they were led out the door, my mother screamed. You'll regret this, Julia. I smiled. No. I'll finally sleep. The lake house was returned to Grandpa's estate. It was sold for more than $480,000 due to rising prices. Every cent went to me. But the money wasn't the victory. The victory was walking into that house, turning the key in the lock, and knowing the walls echoed only my future, not their greed. The victory was standing in my living room watching snow fall softly outside, feeling peace. The victory was justice in a cold bedroom where my grandfather once lay awake fearing they'd get away with it. The victory was the ghost of a smile I swear I felt beside me when I whispered. I finished what you couldn't. Sometimes love is vengeance. Sometimes grief is a blade. And sometimes the only way to honor the dead is to destroy the ones who killed them.